There is something seriously not right in the city of Calgary, Alberta. Today I bring you the story of how Canada Day has been cancelled. Calgary, the home of the Calgary Flames, one of the most hated hockey teams in Edmonton, Alberta. But today I'm not talking about the Flames. I'm not talking about some silly rivalry between Edmonton and Calgary. I'm talking about how Calgary is canceling the Canada Day fireworks celebration because of colonialism and whiteness. What is going on in this world that now a city has to sit there and dictate how you celebrate the Canadian flag, the Canadian land, and how the Canadians keep here and come together in the most inclusive celebrations on the face of the earth? Yes, Calgary and fireworks. It's one of the top 10 things to go do on Canada Day. Go down where many different places you can go in the city and actually spot the fireworks. We have the same thing here in Edmonton. We have the same thing in Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, Quebec. Like everywhere across Canada celebrates Canada Day, and generally they celebrate it with fireworks because you wait until about 11 p.m., then the night sky comes out and they light up the sky with these fireworks. Now, I would understand for them to say, we're not going to do it this year because of the fire situation that we have in Alberta, because it is extremely high. I would guess that the fire situation would be like, no, we can't do the fireworks because it's bad. However, this is at the start of July. We're in the middle of May right now, and they're saying they're canceled. They're not going there a few days forward. Usually these things get canceled if there's a thunderstorm or something like that. Look at the Calgary Stampede. They celebrate the day with fireworks every day, and this is like a week and a half in July, right after Canada Day. We do the same thing here with K-Days, or Klondike Days is what it used to be. Now it's K-Days in that particular order at the end of July. And the same thing. Every night you sit there and watch fireworks, right? But no, Calgary is canceling their fireworks celebration for Canada Day because of colonialism and racism. So the backlash is on, and this is playing out on Twitter as well, with one of the councillors coming out saying they support the decision of the fireworks not going ahead because it's rooted in colonialism. How crazy is this world coming to? This is Canada, and it's Canada Day. We're celebrating being Canadian. We're celebrating people that come here from all walks of life, that immigrate to Canada and be sworn in as Canadian citizens on Canada Day. Criticism over the city of Calgary's decision to do away with fireworks this Canada Day continues. Last week, the city cited numbers of reasons for choice, including noise. It's too loud to do fireworks now, even though we've done this for years in the past, and it's a yearly tradition. Could you imagine down in the States if they told you couldn't celebrate Independence Day because the fireworks are too loud? Overcrowding. There's too many people. How big is Calgary? Calgary's not even that big of a city. Edmonton has 2 million people in it surrounding it. Calgary, I think, is close to the same. Toronto has 6 million people in it. All of Canada has 40 million people. Overcrowding is not that big of a deal. And cultural sensitivities related to truth and reconciliation. The holiday that Justin Trudeau made for the Indigenous peoples of Canada, because there was graves found on resident school sites in Canada. The first day that he sat there and decided to take a vacation day and not honor the Indigenous people, pretty much giving a slap in the face. When I've spoken to a few about this, and they just laugh at it. They're like, it's just more virtual signaling from Canadian politicians. It's absolutely ridiculous at this point. And I try to keep the politics off the channel, but this is beyond idiotic. This is beyond idiotic at this point. This is Canadians that want to celebrate Canada Day, which is a celebration of immigration to this country. The freedoms of this country are now being questioned. July 1st marks the 100th anniversary of Chinese Immigration Act, also known as the Chinese Exclusion Act. The legislative banned the entry of Chinese immigrants to Canada for more than 2 decades. This was back in the middle of wartime. It was in the middle of both wars, World War I and World War II. It spanned that time. So there was conflict through the world of that time. But it doesn't mean that you go forward and saying, because of something that happened that many years ago, we're not doing fireworks anymore. We have Remembrance Day. People wear their poppy. They honor our veterans. And yes, it was dark times. People did things that were absolutely idiotic back during the World Wars because it was a time of chaos in human history. It was a time in human history that is looked back at poorly on all sides of it. So yes, this 100th anniversary thing, because of that, they're not going to do the fireworks. No, that means all the more reason to do them now because we're accepting them here now. It doesn't mean you go cancel something that's been a long-standing tradition for years and will be for years to come. This is a city trying to dictate how to celebrate being Canadian. Like, hanging a Canadian flag now is seen as offensive. And it shouldn't be, because it's one of the most inclusive and freedom-loving things in this country. The city now has an enhanced pyrotechnic show. They're going to shine flashlights on the sky, and you're going to pretend they're fireworks. That's where we're at now. Have a flashlight and shine it up to the sky. Hold on, let me see if I can find one. Courtney Petter, Ward 11 councillor for the city of Calgary. A day that marks 100 years of Chinese Immigration Act and calls from the Indigenous communities to note that Canada Day's historical is for and by white people. And Indigenous people weren't acknowledged as Canadians for years, does warrant a look at how we celebrate. So just cancel all fireworks. Just cancel all fireworks, because this is asinine. This isn't how you do it. You want to talk, you want to open conversation and talk about it. This is not how you do it, by forcing the Calgarians and Canadians to not celebrate. Council didn't make this decision, and if we were to reverse it, would do nothing more than discredit the voices who asked for a different kind of celebration. Reversing this decision would be upholding colonialism and racism. This is nonsense. This isn't nonsense. It's being actively anti-racist, working at truth and reconciliation, and being responsive to the diverse community Calgary is. Nonsense is ignoring that Canada Day can be more than what you think you're entitled to. So everyone that immigrated to Canada, I'm sorry on behalf of the councillors of Calgary, because they don't care that you're immigrating to Canada to celebrate the freedom of coming to our loving country and including you in celebrations of Canadian culture. Celebrating a Canadian Day, celebrating a nation, isn't about a whiteness. It isn't about it being not Indigenous. It isn't about not recognizing Indigenous people. If you're going to cancel Canada Day, canceling the fireworks in this virtual signaling, like this absolutely, it blows my mind that we're at this point in history in Canada, in freedom of Canada, in being Canadians, that now just celebrating Canada Day is racist. No, give your head a shake, reverse the decision, and bring the fireworks back, because every Canadian, every family, every person in Canada deserves a place to go celebrate being Canadian, instead of forcing your citizens and forcing Calgarians to hold their head in shame. I don't hold my head in shame. I'm happy to be Canadian. This is absolutely asinine. There is also a petition out there by Common Sense Calgary. How about you end the nonsense immediately and force City Hall to reverse course and bring back fireworks now this year? If you agree, sign our petition on Calgary Council to bring back fireworks on Canada Day. Currently, they are at 10,000 signatures. That, honestly, in Calgary, that should get people up in arms. If you guys want to see this petition, I will probably link this down below. I believe you're going to have to be from Calgary to have this actually create something, to actually mean something. But it's ridiculous that we have to set up a petition and protest the protesters canceling Canada Day. I'm Canadian. Everyone in Canada is Canadian, and if that's not good enough reason to have a celebration, to fire off some fireworks in the air, then what is? Thanks for watching. I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Sin of Shadow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.